Hey there, YouTubers. All right, so I3-12100f, you're fired. We're bringing in a much better CPU, folks. I have the I5-12400f. We're just gonna say F it and skip to the I7-12700f, right? So, and people will ask me, give me my thoughts on this, give me my thoughts on the CPU cooler that comes with it. I just want a game, folks. I'm just kidding, actually, but so so I can give people my true thoughts on this. I've got to, I think, use the CPU cooler that came with it, right? And then eventually we'll put this guy on here. I may even try to do Power Unlimited with the stock Intel cooler, right? So we'll see how that goes. We'll throw some benchmarks in there over the days to come. Looks like I got to shut off the power supply, so I can still see the motherboard's lit up. All right, so if you well, hang on, I will go ahead and get this thing out of here. So this is kind of like a test configuration, open, not in a case, right? That's how most of the stuff is here. I probably got at least 20 computer cases. Don't use too many of them anymore. Hell, I haven't even done a computer case review in a while. Now, a buddy of mine's gonna come to the area, and looks like he's gonna buy a case. So maybe we'll get to do a review on one. All right, so taking the fan off, and when I put this back on, folks, it may not be the same Noctua cooler. Whoops, we did that again. We may just go bigger. What the hell, right? I'm barely using my 5800X. The 5800X has one of my good Noctuas, dual tower, dual 140 millimeter fans. Will this need it? Probably not, even with the power limits boosted, but you never know. Why make that your weak point, right? I mean, hell, I got all kinds of room here for a bigger CPU fan, since it's not the case. Alright, so there's that. We'll clean this up real quick. You guys don't need to see that. We'll be back in a second. Alright, folks, so smart thing would be to probably take the graphics card out of here. Because we're going to have to, when we put the CPU in, well, we have to take out these components, right, to be able to put the other CPU cooler in. Got to take these components out to get to our CPU. Oops. But one thing I don't like to do is detaching all the cables, all that good stuff, right? So you can see there is a RTX 3090 right there. Did some videos with the i3-12100f. You can imagine, not ideal, obviously not ideal CPU for it, but it was playable, I will say that. Now, at some point, we'll go through all the 12th gens that we're going to get. I've got some more motherboards coming. It's kind of funny that I have to use one motherboard right now, but it is what it is, right? Could either buy a bunch of CPUs or we could buy a bunch of motherboards. And that's what we got. Alright, so hopefully I'll do this without breaking something. We got to take that bracket out. Back plate. Boy, it just scares me lifting the 3090 up like that. So that's what's on the back with the Noctuas. Now, we won't be able to press the CPU cooler in sitting on this box most likely, so I'll have to lift it up again at some point. So yeah, so far, folks, if you were looking at the i390 or I3-12100f, I give it a thumbs up. You know, you really cannot beat that price. So there's a lot of, you know, it's cold. You got to be careful with the static electricity right now. And this is not real smart to be doing this like I am. But, you know, for the sake of doing this and getting it over with, we're going to soldier on, right? Alright, put that aside. So, yeah, before I put the new one in, somebody had wondered, oh, there's issues with, heard some rumors of issues with the sockets. This looks, you know, fine from here. I'd have to break out a microscope or something to really see. But, alright, time for the i7, folks. A little less talking, a little more action, right? Now, I do have to believe this is going to be my best CPU on the channel. We did not buy any of the 11th gen i7s or i9s due to where I was for almost a year. I did buy the 11th gen i5, 11600K, 11400. That was about it, folks. So there is, just so you can see it, and you know we're actually putting it in there. Of course, if you saw the unboxing, you'd know that too. But now it is a little scary how tight these things are in these, to be honest with you. All right. So we want to do, folks, look for that. We've got that triangle right there, right? Nothing on the other side. And then on our bracket, you should be able to see it somewhere. The lighting, yeah, it's right here. You guys may or may not be able to see it, but there is a triangle there, okay? So we've got to line that up. Now, there's other ways to do this if you don't even think about it, but, you know, we've got notches in this. We have to obviously line up. It's not square. It can only go, you know, if you put it in that way, you put it in that way. But really you can't, because if you look at the notches, this distance from here to there is greater than that distance, right? Same thing here. So if you look closely enough at the socket, you'll see this is the bigger side, and it can only go in that way. So there are like so many ways to remember how to do this with the 12th gen. And that is not dropping down. There we go. So we are in there. There's things about the old generations, folks, that I like better. I will tell you that I don't necessarily, I never really liked the plastic gizmo. And this guy, folks, is honestly a little bit weird. Alright, it's in there. You have to put what feels like a lot more energy into clamping that thing down. Just as if you've messed with some of the AMDs with the Wraith cooler, the fun you can have with that your first time, right? And of course, so not the best amount of thermal paste on there. It got a little smudged. We're going to go for it though. What the hell? So we've got our cable, braided cable, right? This is so much nicer. Nicer than even the ones they had for the 11th gen i7s, or 10th and 11th gen i7 i9s. Would be nice to keep the logo looking upright, but it doesn't matter because that rotates. But the cable itself, we want to put back here, obviously. So Some motherboards will have additional spots, but you're looking, folks, for the one that is for the CPU fan, right? Alright, so I do need to lift this up a little bit or slide it off the board, the box. So we're trying to line it up. We're lined up, it looks like. And these are different, folks, so there isn't that little arrow twist thing. I can only assume that you push these down, just like all the other ones. And if you don't want to have this thing sitting on a hard surface, right? Because you will F up the bottom of this guy. I may have done that once or twice. But now, once they're in, yeah, it's not going to kill it sitting on this box. Alright, so we didn't destroy the 3090. Thank God. We got anything else, folks? That's it, right? Because we've got everything else that's installed. This was a replacement job. Alright, hitting the power on the PSU. We see our motherboard come on. That's good. If there was a serious problem, it probably wouldn't have lit up. And now, hopefully I won't get this in the graphics card fan. We're going to turn on, okay? Uh-oh. What did we do wrong, folks? Ah! Damn, wish I could edit that out, but I'm not going to edit it out because I screwed up. So, we did not plug in the CPU fan. I'm going to kill the power. You know, a lot of times, yours truly plugs in the CPU fan first before he even puts it in. I need my glasses. Alright, well, we're going to go ahead and plug this in. CPU fan. The other one should be optional. Some, we'll have one for a pump, which is probably this one back here. Or it's not. Alright, so that's plugged in. Here we go again. Take two, folks. Pretend you did not see me screw up. And especially my buddy when he comes and we build him a computer. I'd hate for him to think, oh, my buddy is incompetent. He can't build a computer. Alright, here we go again. There we go. Now we saw the CPU fan. Should I take a decibel reading this thing while it's idling? Anybody care? Probably hear the graphics card over it. Graphics card's a monster. No. Uh-oh. So it booted, and then it just shut down. And I actually saw the ASRock logo on the screen. So there's no doubt there's a CPU in there. You guys can't see it, but I'm going into the BIOS. I'm going to shut the camera light off. It's in Windows. Now the one thing I do have power limits on, but it actually looks like it's okay. Sometimes you change out, a component like that, it will ask you to go into the BIOS, continue setup. In this case, though, it did not. Alright, so we will get on with making videos for this thing. I guarantee you this cooler will not last on here very long. And we'll see how it goes, folks. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. I will probably just have this as a link inside of one of the i7 videos or whatever. just so you can get an idea of what we got going. But you know, mainly this computer will have the RTX 3090. That's a Zotac one there. 32 gigs of RAM, so 2 sticks of 16. I do not remember which. Oh, it's a silicone power 1 terabyte drive on here, Gen 3. So we don't even have Gen 4 on here, but I don't think it matters much. And that's about it, guys. 1000 watt EVGA gold power supply. We've got our Logitech Pro, I forgot, G Pro mouse on it. That's what we use for gaming. My son's got one, I got one. We're good. But yeah, there you go.